Hola, irmã. Como está?
Olá!
Como vai?
Como vai? Tudo bem, tudo bem.
Sister, viene de Angola. Habla, Olga.
Olá! Boa tarde. Estamos no tempo de Portugal. Seja bem-vindo.
Muito bem.
Beijo.
Obrigado. Muito obrigado. This woman loves everybody. You don't have to, it's good if you're a man, it's good, but she loves everybody.
Yeah.
She gives them big,
It's the small, so much
big
small.
abrazos. Okay, you get me a abrazo. I know this woman. We love each other. We have big abrazos. She's from Angola. Oh, beautiful hug. I like that. Is this your Sabrina?
No, I met her here.
Oh, you only met her here?
Yes.
Amazing how hugs can unite people.
True. Her, then we are sisters.
Are you
But we don't
sisters?
look alike.
Well, tell me your story then. You've got Portuguese names. You
No,
pronounce it
actually I have
Vieira?
French name, surname, Portuguese surname, but my first name is French.
Your first name is French. Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, Sylvie
Sí.
Vieira?
Vieira.
Vieira. And Patricia Vieira. Vieira. And
Yes.
where are you from in Portugal?
Lisbon.
Oh, you live here in Lisbon.
Yes.
Tell me your story, your family. Where did they come from? Why are they here? When did you join the church?
Okay. I was born in Guinea-Bissau. Actually, I came to Portugal when I was 1 year old. My parents moved here because my mother studied here, and we had lots of family here, so they moved here. And she was born here actually. Yeah. So
So that's
I
why your
joined the
family
church.
is here. And was she a member when she came here, or did she join the church here?
No, Guinea-Bissau doesn't have a mission or anything.
Anything at
Doesn't
the
have the
time.
church there. So I joined the church when I was 24 years old.
Yeah.
And I invited her to come to church with me.
Yeah. Which ward? Which barrio? Were you going
Odivelas, yes.
to? Oliveira.
Ward
Oh,
five.
yeah.
Ward
Okay.
five.
Ward 5. Very good. Okay. And so, how old are you?
I'm 30 years old.
And you are about 20. 23. Okay. You're in the right ballpark. Good. Okay. So, have you served a mission?
No,
Okay.
I didn't.
You didn't, but
She
you
did.
You served a mission?
Yes.
Where?
Cape Verde.
Oh, you went to Cape Verde.
Yes.
That's why there's so many new converts there. So many people joining the church. It's a beautiful island. Yeah.
It is beautiful island, awesome people, really good food.
So, as two countries of Africa that's with a Portuguese dialect, Cabo Verde and Guinea-Bissau.
You have more than two.
Well, I know there's more, Mozambique, whatever. But how similar, how different are the two dialects between Guinea-Bissau and Cabo Verde?
Oh, they're very different.
They both speak Creole, but a different kind of Creole.
Yeah.
Creole comes from Portuguese, but
It's a mix of Portuguese and native languages.
yes, so that's why they're so different.
How hard was it for you to learn the dialect? Did you have to kind of relearn the
For me,
language?
it was not hard at all because my parents they speak Creole from Guinea, and although it's different, at the same time it's similar. So for me, I think it was easier
Yeah.
to get it than the other missionaries, but. Everyone speaks Creole. Literally everyone speaks
Yeah.
Creole. So whether you want it or not, you end up learning it.
And as kind of the language of communication with other people, they speak
Yes.
French or they speak
No,
Portuguese?
in Cape Verde, not much French, but in Guinea-Bissau, because they have borders
Border with the French colony, yeah.
colonies, so they speak French.
Okay.
But the official language is Portuguese.
And what does this guy speak? He speaks bye-bye. Bye-bye. I know, leave me out of this. Okay. And then, well, nice talking to
It's
you,
from
members.
our ward.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have many young adults in your ward? How many?
Yes. Temos quantos?
20 something.
No,
Yeah.
na nossa aula. 20. Oh, 20.
What is your calling? What do you do in your ward?
I'm
Are
a
you
seminary teacher
Seminary
and I'm
teacher.
first counselor of Relief Society.
Very nice. And what about you?
Even if let me see if I can say this in English. So I'm
Young adults.
leader.
Young adult leader.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Good. I can't think of any questions, which is crazy because I'm always up coming up with questions. I have many, but I'll give you a chance. You can ask me a question if you want.
So, why you're here?
Nah, I need 2 hours for that one. I'm here for many reasons, but for this moment is to know people like you, to know your stories, and to know your testimony, why you love the church, love Christ so much, and why you're happy about the temple.
Oh,
This is what I love to do, is hear the stories of the new members.
well, I joined the church. When I met the missionaries, it was actually I was in a good place, I think. I really wanted to improve my relationship with God at the time. So, it was a funny moment. So, they found me, actually. I thought I was getting robbed. But it was just a sister running after me. And she said, "Oh, I really need to talk to you." And I
Was
like,
she an American missionary?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was her name?
Sister Parker.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Mr. Parker, if you're watching this, we love you.
Sister Parker, I'm glad you weren't a Sister Walker. You were running after them. Good.
it was good. So we had lessons and everything, and I felt the Spirit. But the thing that was most special for me was Sundays. Since I started having lessons with the missionaries, I never missed a Sunday.
Fantastic.
So Sunday meetings for me, they were amazing. And I really, and the Book of Mormon, every time I read it, I really felt peace. So for me, that was, and one day I really got my answer because I was already baptized. I was Catholic before, and I didn't understand why I needed to get baptized again because I wasn't baptized when I was a baby. I was 12 years old.
really?
It was my choice.
You
Because my
almost went to
dad-
purgatory.
because my dad, he doesn't have a religion, so
Yeah.
he didn't want us to be baptized when we were a child. So it was my choice. So for me, it was weird, but I really felt the Spirit. So I really felt that I needed to. I got my testimony during a sacramental meeting, so it was very powerful, and I decided to get baptized, and I started inviting her.
Yes.
Even before I was
And
baptized.
do you have other brothers and sisters? Or
I have an older brother.
Yeah.
We have.
We have, yeah.
Okay. Is he close to you here?
He lives in Germany.
Oh.
Actually, he was here, but we couldn't convince him to come to the temple.
No. Some
but
people you can't convince.
we talked about it. And
Okay, so
it's good.
here's a question then. And this question is for members in my community, Utah, who mostly grow up from the time they're little, they grow up in the church and they take it for granted. They don't really have a conversion story. They just wait until they get called to go on a mission. Then maybe they have a spiritual experience on their mission, but they don't really have anything before their mission. So a lot of the Utah Mormons are kind of like, they're not sure, they're kind of confused, or they're lazy. Do you have anything you would say to members of our church, young adults, who are not sure if the church is true or not?
That's a really good question. Yeah,
Okay.
I had companions in my mission that they struggled with that. And one thing I always told them is, well, you're here for a reason, right? Something led you to come here, doesn't matter what, but you're here, you're serving a mission, and you're so close to God right now. And you have to see this moment. Okay, you grew up in the church, you went because your parents did. It doesn't matter. What it matters is what are you going to do with it? What do you choose to do with that knowledge you have? You just do it because other people do it, or you do it because you really want to find out. And if you really want to find out, then I'm absolutely sure you will find out that it's true.
Very good answer. I don't think President Nelson could do a better answer than that. That was very good.
So, to all of you that were born in the church, and sometimes I think I'm a seminary teacher, so I work with youth all the time. And sometimes they say to me, "Oh, you weren't born a member, so you had the opportunity to see the other side, to do other things, try other things, and then you chose this. We don't have a choice. That's a lie. You do have a choice. And one of the things I learned the most during this period is that our Heavenly Father knows each and every one of His kids. And He knows what's best for us to reach our celestial potential, I think. I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry if I said it wrong.
Yeah.
Our destiny. So our mission here. So I think that some of us need to go to a worldly life to get there, because I think we're more stubborn. We wouldn't change our hearts, and sometimes we need to see other things so we can actually make that choice. If you were born in church, our Heavenly Father trusts your parents and trusts you, because He knows that you don't need to see any other things to choose Him, because He believes in you. So it's not like you're in this certain disadvantaged place. No, it's because He believes in you. So you have the strength to keep to the path, and because of what you are and what you're learning, what your parents are doing with you. So that's amazing. I would switch like my life with you, because I'm always all the time thinking, how would my life be if I had met the church before? Like, it would be awesome. I think I would make like incredible friends, even during my youth years, and it would be amazing. I wouldn't make so many bad choices that I have made in the past. So I think that that's amazing. So you should cherish that and believe that God loves you just the same as He loves me. So that's an incredible thing. So we need to just believe that He knows us and He loves us. Remember who you are. Never forget that. And never forget to ask God who you are, because He will answer. That's amazing.
Amen to that. Thank you. Thank you so much, sister. Appreciate it.
To talk about that, because I'm always talking about that with my youth and my word, and we talk. It's different. We have different experiences, and that's very enriching, I say.
It is very enriching and uplifting and ennobling. Thank you again.
Thank you for asking.
Got home. So I don't know how many years. 10 years maybe.
Yes.
Okay, what
Well,
else?
I'm glad you're back here to live
She's
a
a pioneer.
pioneer.
Angola, pioneer.
And what are you?
Yeah, ask her.
Because you were the
Sorry?
first in your family to find the
Yeah,
church, so you're a
yeah,
pioneer in
Yeah,
Angola.
kind of.
Tell me your name.
My name is Marisa
Let me
Barroso.
show your tag. Okay, Marisa Barroso. And her sister, Laura
Laura
Carvalho.
Carvalho.
The big sister, the little sister. How many more sisters in between you? How many
Oh,
older?
I have two. Well, it's very
brothers.
complicated because in
Yeah,
her
you have
father's
different fathers.
side, yeah.
Yeah.
So in mother's side we have two more, and then we split. With my own father, I have one, and with her own father, she has more, maybe 10, right?
Yeah.
Portuguese or in English?
You can speak in English for my camera.
Yeah, she can speak.
Hello, my
Hello.
name is Marisa Barroso. I'm from Angola. I am the first member in my family. Not really the first one, but for my family that how to say que eu construí. I built. I'm the first one, and I share this knowledge with my sister, Laura.
And how was she? Very excited? Or like, no, it's not true. It's not true.
No, she said, "Oh no, I'm Catholic. I don't want to go to your church because I want to be baptized in my church." And I said, "No, come with me just to see, because I heard the first time about the church in Portugal, here in Portugal, with my other brothers, my father's side."
Yeah.
And I went to Angola and I invited her
Yeah.
to go with me. And we went there and leave.
Never
church.
left it. Yeah.
Yeah, never left the church.
And she has a very nice conversion because her husband. Okay, so when she met the church, she was not married. She lived together with her husband, and she had already 2 kids.
The children, yeah.
And so when eventually she got married and everything was ready, that's when she was baptized. But I was baptized first
Yeah.
because she was like, she need to fix something. Yeah.
But how did you know it was true? Before you're baptized, you have to have a conversion or an experience.
Yeah,
something to
okay,
tell
so after that, we went to the church for the first time together. And so we loved our first day in the church, and we decided that that was the church we want to belong. And then since then, I was receiving the lessons.
Getting the lessons, yeah.
Getting the lessons to be baptized, and it was just very nice how the Book of Mormon changed my life. And I started to have all these feelings that you only feel when you start reading the Book of Mormon.
You obtained a Book of Mormon in Portuguese? or
Yes, it
English?
was in Portuguese, yeah. And since then, I just decided that this is true.
Yeah.
Because the feelings that I was having and the way was changing myself, and I decided that that was good and that's what I wanted in my life.
Yes.
And so I decided to be baptized.
Good.
And then later, Marisa also got baptized.
Oh,
But-
you were baptized first and then?
yeah,
Oh, okay. I
and
understand.
she got baptized. And the other fight was her husband. But she was a very good example because she used a very good technique to help her husband to join the church, because she started to teach her kids like she taught in her house primary lesson to her kid, like sing, piano and everything.
To
She was
pray
doing,
and-
pray and
yeah.
everything. She started doing in her house. And then later her husband was like seeing all those things and
good
everything.
results.
Yeah. And he said, oh, this is a good church. He would even tell other people, this is the church where you should join. This is my wife church.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's how. And then later, I decided to serve a mission in South Africa, 2004 to 2006.
And at that time, you didn't speak English.
No, I didn't speak English. I learned English reading the Book of Mormon.
By reading the Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, by reading the Book of
And
Mormon.
was there only one mission in South Africa, Johannesburg or
No,
Pretoria?
Johannesburg was one mission, but they also put together with the Botswana.
Botswana. Oh, yes. Okay. Did you work in Botswana too?
Yeah.
They speak English in
They
Botswana?
speak English, and they also have their dialect language. Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah,
Wow,
so-
what amazing stories.
Was one of Lisbon.
My husband took 6 years to be baptized. Yeah.
Yeah. And the most amazing thing is that although he was the last person to join the church, today he's the one who's like always telling us to read the scriptures. Doing family home evening, let's read the scripture every day. And it was just, oh, we're tired. We don't want to read today. Yeah.
Do they make
You are
him
not-
seminary teacher or
Yeah, he
Sunday
was
school teacher?
already a branch president.
Wow.
Yeah. He was a branch president.
Executive
now.
secretary.
Yeah.
Secretary, executive.
And this is in Angola. So the next big question is, when do they build a temple in Angola?
When? That's what we hope it's going to be soon.
And then you can be temple workers.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's our dream.
Yeah,
So we know one day we're gonna have a temple.
Yes.
Just like here in
it's
Lisbon.
like here. Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
My name is Manuel Silva. I am a member since 1987. I was a young lad of 17 when I met the church, and right 1 year after I went on a mission.
Okay.
I'm originally from Angola, Africa.
Oh, yes, okay.
But I grew up here in Portugal since my father is Portuguese, and we moved in with the massive Angolan exodus in 1975. So the reason why I did join the church, actually, I was looking for some meaning for life. I had deep questions about where I did come from, what I was doing here, and where
Purpose
I would
of life.
go for.
Yeah.
The purpose of life. I couldn't state that, but I could state the questions.
Yes.
And at the time, I went through several churches to find that reasoning. And no one could give me a straight answer. But when I met the church, of course, and the missionaries,
You saw missionaries, or did they see you first?
well, actually, my cousin started listening to the missionaries at a friend's house, and then they brought the missionaries home that they could teach the family. So we were able to teach the family, to be taught, and then we learned about all of the story of the church and the Book of Mormon, and we were engaged in reading, and soon after we received the testimony, and that's the reason why I became a member of the church. Since then, it has been a great opportunity and a great blessing in our lives.
Okay, well, yeah, and your wife, how did you meet her?
I did met my wife after my mission, and she was already a member of the church since she was 11, and we were married, and we have 3 kids, 3 boys, all of them missionaries. And it has been
They're
great.
missionaries now, or are they different times they serve in the missions?
So the oldest is a returned missionary, served in the Alpine
Utah?
Alpine German mission.
Oh, Alpine German mission.
German
Okay.
mission. I have 2 others that are serving. One is in LA, Los Angeles, California mission, and the other one is at the MTC going to Holland and Belgium mission.
Fantastic. I have seen you a few times here at the temple this past week, so you've been a volunteer here.
I have been a volunteer.
And now you're going on a tour, go to the temple.
With some friends, with a friend, and yes, it has been a great opportunity to show the temple to our friends.
I wish you well. Well, good luck to you. Maybe someday they make you the mission president in Angola or somewhere like this, you know? You never know.
Maybe someday
You are a pioneer,
we'll
so...
be in heaven with our families. That's what we want.
That's what you're aiming for.
All of the rest is
Tell me again your name.
Manuel Silva.
Manuel Silva. Thank you, Manuel.
Thank you
so
very much, brother.
So I know this missionary, and he started dreaming some time ago. He started dreaming on his mission about this house, and it had a gate, and it was amazing because he was dreaming all week about that house and the gate. And then at the end of the week, his companion came to him and said, "Oh, hi, do you know something? I've been dreaming about the house and the gate." And he was very surprised because he said, "Oh, me too. So it must be something God wants us to do." So they went, next day they went searching for the house and the gate, and they found this house. It was really like the dream. So they went inside because no one came to the gate. And when they were arriving at the door, do you know what happened? A man came from the inside and looked at them and said, "Please stop, don't do anything and don't say anything, just let me look at you for a minute." And then this man went inside the house and brought the family out and told the family, "Do you see these gentlemen dressed in white? These are the ones that I've been dreaming about, the men in white that will change our lives." And then the missionary said, "But in our dream there was a river and a beautiful tree." And the gentleman said, "Oh, please come and see, because behind our house there's a river and a beautiful tree." And so the missionaries knew that it was a revelation from God, and they started baptizing the members in that river afterwards. It was beautiful because they used to go to the ocean, to the beach, to baptize them, because there was no church there at the time. So it was a beautiful story. God leads the way.
Incredible. And what was the name of that missionary?
That missionary's name is José Manuel Andrade, and he's from Alentejo now.
He's the man I stayed with last night.
Yes, and
Yeah.
he's a wonderful person,
Fantastic.
and his family.
Thank you for telling me that story.
Yes.
The faith-promoting story.
And
Very good.
if our prophet sees this video, I want him to know that I love him and I admire him. All of us do here in Portugal, and I hope he's blessed with many years to come.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Sister
Thank you.
Pialio. You were such a great friend and guide this week.
Thank you so much. I hope you're all happy as we are here.
Serving in mission is really uplifting.
Life-changing.
Yeah, life-changing. Because it helps us to grow and it helps us to see other people grow as well. And I think we sometimes go on a mission thinking, oh, we're going to change so many people's lives, but we end up changing ours. And that's so amazing.
What in particular, what did you find really changed you or was most spiritual for you?
I think to see the willingness of the people wanting to change their hearts and their minds, to see that change really was a blessing.
And we're in Brazil. Which mission?
Brasilia, capital.
Oh, the capital. That's a very modern city, very progressive. It's hard to pick
There's
up
this one family. They were being taught by the missionaries for like 2 transfers, I want to say. And then I went to that area and I saw the sisters teaching that family, and they asked me and my companion to help them. And they were so good, but they needed to get married. So we worked with them for like 2 transfers. They got married and they all got baptized, and that was
fantastic.
So good, because in Brazil usually people don't take that long. But we knew that they were worth it, so we couldn't just give up.
What was the nearest temple for them?
São Paulo.
São Paulo, that's a long way.
It's a 16-hour drive, I want to say. I went to Brazil thinking, oh, I'm not going to have to learn a new language because they speak Portuguese as well. But the accent was really different. They couldn't understand me, and sometimes I couldn't understand.
know when someone's from Brazil. I can tell immediately they're from Brazil.
So it was, at first it was hard because we couldn't understand each other, so I had to adapt myself into speaking the way they speak. So that was interesting. The food wasn't too different, just a few things, but it was easy to
What did they think of your dialect?
They really liked it. They were like, oh, speak more, your accent is so different. So yeah.
Well, great. Well, that's one of the wonderful things about being on a mission is just the cultural differences and unique aspects. Thank you again. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
I think my testimony kind of starts with both of my parents, and they were both members of the church. My mom was a convert at 16, and my dad's mom joined the church when he was really young. But both of them gave me the opportunity to choose for myself all the time growing up if I was going to decide to go to church, if I was going to decide to read my scriptures. And I noticed a distinct difference when I did the things that I was told were good versus doing the things that I knew I probably shouldn't do. And it was these little experiences with feeling the Spirit testifying to me that these things were correct, these things were right, that gave me the confidence, the assurance in God that they were to keep going. And so once I decided for myself that I really truly loved this gospel and knew that it was true, I knew I needed to share it with other people. And that's why I'm here. So,
fantastic.
And with that I know that the atonement is real because I've used it. And I've seen it bless me, and I've seen it bless other people's lives as well. And I know that this church is true because I felt it. And the Holy Spirit is the only thing that can give you a testimony like the one I have. That can't be taken from anything because it's given by someone very, very special. So that would be my testimony.
And you have a magnificent testimony, and many missionaries have a similar testimony, not all. But you are a great missionary. I've seen you working this week with the investigators, the people coming, and your love is so great. Thank you so much, Sister Kendall, for serving. Hi again, girls, sisters.
How was it?
Fantastico. No, wait a minute. Is that Italian or French or that It's Portuguese too? Fantastico is Portuguese? Okay. Yeah. Todo bien. Todo bom. Muito bom. Todo bem. Todo bem. Tudo bem. I'll get it right one of these times. Anyway, good.
Okay, I'm Sister Bradley, and I'm from Ogden, Utah. I am here on a mission here in Portugal, in the Portugal Lisbon mission. And right now I am at the Temple Open House serving the awesome people of Portugal and helping people better know Jesus Christ. And after my mission, I have this awesome dream. I really want to help kids in orphanages. And so I just had this kind of, not necessarily revelation, but I was at a fireside and I had received some answers to some prayers because I don't really know what I want to do when I get older, but I just know that I love kids and I just want to help kids. So I had this dream that I could help kids in other countries, and other orphanages in other countries can sometimes be very hard, and it's really hard to adopt kids from other countries because there's a lot of stuff they have to go through, and a lot of times when people adopt kids out of other countries, they have a lot of problems, a lot of disorders, a lot of disabilities. They're malnutrition, they have malnutrition and all of this stuff. But I just had this awesome idea that I have no idea how I'm going to do it, but we'll work with it. That I would help kids from outside the country, bring them to the United States, and have an orphanage here, where they have people who are doctors, people who will just love them, hold them, give them the things they need. They can be nutritioned properly, and they can receive the help that they need, and then people can adopt them out of this orphanage, and it will be a little bit easier because we'll already be in the United States, so they're not going to have to go through as much of the process, and it will be a little bit not as expensive because they don't have to travel to other places. But I just want to help other people, and I just want to help these other kids in these other countries have a better life. Yeah.
That's fantastic. It's a good dream, and it's a big dream, and you have to start now. Start early.
Yeah.
The two sisters love each other. Very good. The friends. Very good.
Hi, I'm Pickle. I'm from Lisbon, and I'm one member of the Church of Jesus Christ. So my family is one of the pioneers here in Portugal, in my mother's side. My grandfather was in the street when he saw two young men dressed really nicely, and they went and talked to him and telling about how they were missionaries, and they were spreading the word of Christ, and he got interested, and he invited them to come to their house in Amadora. So after a few days, they went there and they taught my aunt, my mother, that was really little, and my grandmother. My grandfather he didn't convert, but he was like a rock for my family, for their conversion. He didn't believe in God, but at the end of his life, he was really proud that my mother and my aunts and my grandmother made the decision to come into the gospel. So there was a few months of learning and conversion. The last one to be baptized was my aunt Luisa. She was really nervous in the day of her baptism. She was thinking about giving up, but she felt that it was right. And when she was baptized, she felt the warmth. Mm-hmm. She told me that the water was really cold. Yeah, and when she was baptized, she could not feel the cold anymore. Yeah, only the warmness in her heart was shining. Yeah. So they started to go to church, and every time that they were a little weak, my grandfather, who didn't convert and didn't want anything to do with the church, was there to support them and to scold them if they weren't going to church. Mm-hmm. So they were strong in church. They are strong in church because of my grandfather, who, funnily enough, didn't convert. But right now, he died years
recently?
back. Yeah.
Okay.
No, not recently.
Well, a few years
10 years.
back. Okay.
Yeah,
oh,
10
that
years
long.
ago.
Okay.
Yeah. and we did his ordinances for him.
Did his ordinances.
Yeah, it
couple
was really
ordinances, yeah.
special, and we feel that like he accepted the church. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's okay that you did his work in Spain, right?
Yeah,
No
it's
problem.
okay.
No.
It's okay.
I'm just,
Better to
that's
do
a
it in
funny
Spain
thing.
than to make him wait for it.
Good.
It doesn't matter where it is. It matters that we did it. We did
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
Well, I'm amazed to talk to you because you're a young one. You're only 18. You're preparing for a mission. You have a big spirit. You have a lot of love, and but you're living the gospel. And talking to you, I know you have a testimony of the resurrection. You have a testimony of the truth that we espouse, that we live by. So, what makes you so strong? You have a good family legacy. You just told me, but what personally makes you strong in the church?
I think it's a lot of things. It's my teachers, it's my mother, it's my father, especially my father. Every time that I have a doubt or I don't know anything, I don't know anything, and I want to know, I can always turn to him.
Yeah, you can trust him to get an answer.
He'll do his best to teach me. So it's that group of things that make me how I am. Especially my teachers. They had a lot of patience. When I was growing up, I was really...
You were a wild child.
Yeah, I was really not wild, but I couldn't be like quiet or
You
reverent.
can be,
I would like to. I like to be jumping around.
Yeah, okay.
So they had to be really patient with me, but I'm really grateful.
But now it's paying off because now you're giving back, you're teaching others, you're bringing hope, light, love to many people.
I'm doing my best to teach others.
Yeah. Well, you'll be a great missionary. You're going to be great. As I told you, I hope they send you to Provo so that I can see you again. You'll make my life happy. But wherever you go, you're going to make a lot of people happy, and especially people that are afraid, angry, sad. Everybody's got problems, and they don't need to have those problems. So many problems could be cured and solved if they understood who Jesus is and they accepted his grace, his forgiveness, and his power. They could live a happier life like you, okay? You're not carrying a heavy burden on you like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do today or tomorrow. I've got these problems. You're at peace. You have love. You have inner light. And that's a wonderful thing.
Well, God gave me that.
God
He's
gave
giving me these peace, and I'm really grateful for them. I don't like trouble. I try to avoid trouble every time.
You're a peacemaker.
Yeah, I don't like trouble.
Yeah.
I'm too lazy to like trouble.
Well, God gives each of us spiritual gifts and talents. What do you think your talents or gifts are, other than the ability to speak English well? You speak it excellently. So in addition to language, you think you have any special gifts or talents God has given you?
I don't know. I cannot recognize them. Well, in my... I don't know how you say in English, but here we say benção patriarcal.
Patriarchal blessing.
Yeah,
and your patriarchal blessing.
It says that my gift is to be kind with others. I don't know if that's right.
I think you are, because one thing I noticed about you, you're able to look at people, and I can feel your love from your eyes. You look at people with love, and you have that ability. Yes.
Well, if God says that I'm kind, I'll believe him. I'm not sure if he's totally right, but he knows best, right? So, yeah, that's what it's written, that my gift is to be kind, and I should always be kind with people.
Yeah.
So I'm trying my best to be kind to people and to help them with everything they need.
Well, the good thing about our church is that it has many saints like you in it, people who live with love and goodness and hope. All over the world, everywhere I go, I meet beautiful people like you. And this week, I'm grateful I was able to meet you, because you're one of these lights that I've been able to see and to enjoy listening to and talking to.
Well, I'm grateful for meeting you, because I received a lot of wisdom from you.
Did I tell you some things?
Yeah, a lot of things.
Some things have to be learned from experience.
Yeah.
Whether it's a good experience or a bad experience, we can learn from both good and bad. But if we're going to learn from a bad experience, then we really have to make the effort to turn it into good. We can't just let it control our life. We have to learn a lesson from it. And we can learn good things from bad experiences. Right?
Right now I'm 30.
But you're a woman, you don't need to go through life making bad experiences. You can learn a lot. You can learn a lot from doing good and good experiences too. And I think that's what Jesus would prefer. I think God
Than
prefers
to make bad decisions.
Yeah, make
I
good
prefer
decisions.
that too. I prefer to learn from good experience than bad experience.
Yeah.
Because if it's bad, the bad doesn't mean good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to tell me about yourself, your story, your family. Thank you for being a child of Zion, a child of God, to share the gospel of Christ.
Thank you for being here and support us. You're helping a lot. Yeah.
You're a great volunteer. Thank you again.
Bye.